to the new ladies that I was meeting, so I switched to doing style shows. And the ladies absolutely love it. It made a huge difference and created a want and a need to get on my calendar instead of me begging somebody to get on my calendar. Mark is going to cover more on this later after lunch, so be ready. Now, Facebook shows, y'all, I'm going to be real honest. They're optional and for out-of-state friends and family, or a possible way to save last-minute cancellations. I'm here to tell you right now, do not expect to run a successful business solely on Facebook shows. A lot of them are going to be flops, and it's life, it's part of it, you keep on going. I would have had probably 120 shows this year had all my Facebook attempts came through, but it's okay. Didn't take a whole lot out of me with the way I do mine. Now, Facebook relationship building was a game changer. That is completely different. It's not salesy. It's learning how to become friends, using your VIP group, your business page, things like that to really become friends with these people. You've got to meet people where you're at. And so my life and having a baby, and I've done literally every angle of this business. I've had a full-time job, used to work around the corner for Nationwide for the first half of my 6 years in Premier. To having a baby, to having a second baby. I've done it all, okay? But really, building these relationships, I didn't let having a little kid around not being able to make phone calls become my excuse, right? That's what I say, there's no excuses. I let that be my reason, and I used my phone. So everybody knows I'm attached to my phone. But that's where I work my business, and I build relationships. So if I meet you, I'm like, oh, are you on Facebook? Let me add you. And if you're not, that's fine. Then you still go on my phone. But like I put these people on my Facebook, and then they get added to my Facebook VIP group. And then those people get extra special deals. And now I'm starting to get my business page going again because Facebook doesn't want you to do business on your regular personal page. However, if these people become your friends and you actually treat them like a friend that would be in the room next to you, that means you have to like, comment, post, things like that. But that was really a game changer for building relationships through Facebook. So people are seeing my life, I'm seeing theirs, and I know I can say, oh girl, let me do a fundraiser for you if you're raising money for this cause or you need this. Like I reach out and I create my own opportunities by watching these other people and what they might need. Okay, so meeting people where they are. This new group order flexibility is such a great new tool if you learn how to use it. Always be prepared for a pop-up show with your catalogs, a few top sellers. Have your show on the go bag. Some examples of places you can be prepared with this would be at the ball field, doctor's office, out to lunch, birthday parties, family reunions, bunco nights, etc. Y'all, be a traveling boutique. You also must offer more than one type of jewelry show. My guest surveys or style profile, whatever you want to call them, gives a brief list of different theme shows and services that I offer. Trends and Friends night or day, that's going to be your basic. For me, it's a style show, showing the jewelry, playing in it, whatever with the girls, kind of what it sounds like. Giving them some style tips. Bleachers and bling, y'all, just because your kids are in ball, I don't hear it. That's not an excuse. I signed my girl up in the fall, and I almost didn't put her in it. You know why? I was almost like, nope, that is me and my husband. He's the photographer out there. That's our busiest season. What am I thinking? Why would I put her in softball? I grew up playing ball. That's part of the reason I do these things. And I'm like, absolutely not. I put her in softball, and I let her know in advance, listen, baby, I love you. I want to be at everything, but I've already got stuff on my calendar. Daddy's already got stuff on his calendar, so we're going to be at everything we possibly can, but there's a chance we might miss something. Would y'all know the sense of humor of the Lord? I missed the one and only game. She got the dang game ball. Come on now. But it's okay because I was like, oh, that's all right. Stephen was there. He got the pictures. I'm good with that. Like, it's what allows me to be at everything else, and I didn't miss anything else. But those new people I got to be around, and I got to give all the little girls the cute baseball charm set for, their end of the year thing. That is something that's different. Like, we have those people that are put into our life through our kids, through other things like that. And then that's where we can use it as a ministry. So I do bleachers and bling. And a lot of times I turn them into fundraisers for the team. But those people are there, so open your mouth. You're talking to them all the time anyways. Doctor's office, take that, go out to lunch. Let's see. Anything like that. Birthday parties. All these are places you can take stuff. Oh, here we go. So the thing, bleachers and bling, Java and jewelry, y'all, that kind of explains itself, just a couple people. The birthday bling bash that I do, that's just to celebrate the hostess. And a lot of times it's really funny. I say, well, you can come shop for yourself, and she's going to get the benefits. But it's not being stuck in that traditional home show feel. It's reaching out, and they actually start buying her gifts. So it's fun. A busy girl shopping spree, power hour lunch, a wardrobe workshop, closet console. A lot of people don't really know what that is. It's just helping a lady get in her closet, find how to work her neutrals and her fashion piece. And, Mark's going to kind of hit on some of that fun stuff. Fundraisers, though, y'all, don't miss that opportunity. Okay, fundraisers are a huge avenue for your business to add people and new contacts to your calendar. All right, I utilize my surveys at checkout to get them on my calendar and throughout the year because they're going to write down things they won't tell you. I don't give no as an option on mine, so I just say yes or maybe later and what month works good for you. Another important tip, do not put your business on the side. We all have a box or bag of jewelry, whatever you carry your stuff in. Do not put it on the side. This type of business is a social business, and you must, y'all hear me, you must talk to people, and if you didn't know that, I'm sorry. But this is also why Facebook requires interaction to produce results. You can't just put a post out there and expect to have a following. You must be that friend. Have conversations, aka like, comment, interact, just like you would see. And that's the way the algorithm's going to know that you guys are actually friends and start showing your stuff in their feed. Fundraisers are, like I said, the biggest way. I did 9 of them from September to November when I was trying to put additional dates to make Century Club happen. That is how I did that. It got me in the door. The lady was like, oh my gosh, I would love to help you. My kids normally walk door to door to raise money for this. I'd love to do a show for you, and I think we're going to make it an annual thing. She was shocked at how much money that I was able to donate, and I just split half my profit. And I also met new people, got in a new crowd, a great neighborhood, and I'm looking forward to doing more things with these ladies. So, the biggest secret to being successful and adding events to your calendar is switching your focus off yourself and onto others. Trust me, I understand. We all have needs and bills to be paid but if we have a selfish mindset to how we work our business, it's actually going to work against us. So start looking outside the box for ways to bless others through this business, and you will be blessed as well. Plus, don't forget, every piece of jewelry also funds missionaries all around the world. So that in itself pushes me to do more, and it should you too. Remember, we are not here by chance. We are here by design. A few other tips that will keep you on track throughout the year and keep shows on your calendar and have really helped me get to where I'm at right now in my business. Number 1, staying connected is a must. That's what our theme is. But what does that look like? Because a lot of us need it broken down. You need to attend training once a month. If for some reason you can't attend that training, you have to fill yourself with trainings somewhere. There's a ton of Facebook groups you can follow. There's Sundays with Sisters. It's amazing, y'all. Okay, my girl Krista put that together, and I love her. Oh my gosh, I love that she puts that together. If you have not found that, find Sunday with Sisters on Facebook, and be sure this Sunday, tomorrow night, Brandy Lynn, love Brandy Lynn, is going to be doing our spring fashion training on there. So anybody that used to do jammies with jewelry calls, it's kind of the same thing, but we get video interaction with these people, and they post everything, all their files and everything they're doing is on there. So there's no reason to have the best of the best of the best training poured into you by being part of these groups and paying attention. Pocket Deb, y'all definitely plugging her. She's like my BFF. For tech support, if you don't have a clue where to go, I've been following her and been in her group since she started it, and she's amazing, y'all. $10 a month, best $10 a month you'll ever spend. Because even though I haven't been able to get on there lately and keep up with all the new stuff that she's put out there, I know that it's there as soon as I'm ready to move forward with that part of my business. She just released the email marketing campaign and all that using MailChimp, and there is step-by-step tutorials I call it for dummies, so yay for me. I put that in my So anyway, she's there, and it's not just she's got all these tutorials and everything ready for you, and she's also there by phone, and she's actually a jeweler as well. So Pocket Deb is what that is. Sharing ideas with Jan is another one. If you haven't been on that group, she has 190 something albums full of everything cute, already designed and made for you can think of that you want to use for your Facebook or any other type of business. And then Marketing Matters, Penny Lacey is another great one. She posts a whole bunch of cute things. So, truth time, y'all. I love to keep it real, so here you go. If you want your business to pay you like a business, you got that debt we're talking about? If you want it to pay you like a business, then you have to work it like a business.
Amen.
You're going to get out of it what you put in, so just take a minute and really evaluate your last year and decide what you want and what you plan to do differently, or more of what was working for you that you're going to do, and just do it. And stop finding excuses. So everybody's always got a verse, so I got myself a verse, okay? My girls know about this verse, but Proverbs 4, this is in the Bible, y'all. Hold up. Wait for it. All right. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Y'all heard that? Yeah. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So think about what you're going to do today to move your business forward, aka work it. Okay, example, when you leave here or now, call, text a past hostess or a friend on a break that put some pictures of some new bling, share some excitement with them. Also go live on your Facebook today from here with excitement and fun. Show them the jewelry. Make these calls at lunch on the drive home. Utilize your time, y'all. I listen to trainings as I'm driving to the gym and back. When I go, I listen to them when I'm in the car. As much as I love music and like to jam, I mean, like literally, sometimes when my kid's trying to go to sleep, I put headphones in and listen to a Sundays with Sisters for 45 minutes while I was waiting on them to fall asleep. You fit it in where you fit it in. You make it happen. All right. So, in fact, you can add your spring preview event as a show and on your calendar just by using catalogs, doing a review crew like Tammy did. Select a few pieces that you already have, bring them, invite them, but that's something you can put on your calendar right now. When I say no excuses, y'all, I mean no excuses. I believe in every single one of you in here. You can do it. So, that's all I have on my part. However, the next letter, before I introduce my friend, the next letter is N, so there's two N's. And this one is for negativity, or better yet, no negativity. That is the biggest killer to this type of business. Before I introduce our guest speaker addressing this topic, and trust me, you don't want to miss it, let me break it down for you. Your attitude is going to be key in having a successful business, and if all people hear and see are negative, then you can expect your results, or lack of, to be the same. This last year has been tough on all of us. Y'all, me included. I lost my sister. Am I sad? Dude, absolutely. But can I change it? No. It was God's plan, and so I must keep moving forward, which is exactly what I did through the busiest season, and reached a goal she would have been one of my biggest cheerleaders on. My point? We all got something. Every one of us has something. I'm tired of hearing all your somethings of why you don't do this and give this gift of Premier and bless your own bank accounts, your own life, and enrich your own self, because that is what Premier is all about. Our circumstances should not be what keeps you from working your business, but instead should be how this business is actually a blessing with the flexibility through your circumstances, and now more than ever with this flexibility. Let's all think about why we started to begin with and why we might just need to restart, start if you're new, and at this time, at this time in your life, and really just go out there and just do it.
Woo! That was awesome! You got to get pictures of Flo.
I think I want to sign up. I don't want to walk the house and they told me if I was here that I would meet some people and see if I wanted to do this. And I tell you what, I'm so excited because I like to kind of talk to people and connect to see if I want to do this or not. I've been at the Waffle House 58 years. You can look at me and tell I've been somewhere 58 years. I just love working at the Waffle House. I don't know. I've got to find a connection. If selling the jewelry would be kind of like working at the Waffle House. Now, I tell you, I used to be real good at working at the Waffle House, and I would always win all the contests that
mic's not working. I don't need to start over. I came from the Waffle House. And I tell you what switched the Waffle House for me is when I stopped telling myself that I was there to wait tables and I started telling myself I was there to serve people. Everything switched for me. Because I could keep my heart in serving people, but I couldn't keep my heart in waiting tables because that just made it a job. And when it's just a job and I realize I'm just working to make a difference to me and I'm not working to make a difference to the people I'm serving, then it changed everything for me. So I want to tell you, I have a great, wonderful grandmother who's passed on, but we used to have to get off our school bus every day and sit on the front porch with our grandmama because she would say it was continuing education. And every time we'd get on that swing, she'd ask us one thing: what you learned today? And then she'd say, and how you going to use it? And so you better make up something if you ain't learned nothing, because she was going to ask you what you learned, how you was going to use it. And so one day I was in the library and I saw a big old poster and it said, knowledge is power. And I said, kiss my grits, Grandma's going to love that. What to tell her? I said, Grandma, guess what I learned today? And she said, what? I said, I learned that knowledge is power. And she said, well, you sit down because I'm telling you, some of those things they tell you ain't true and there ain't a bit of truth to that. Have y'all heard that knowledge is power? Me too, and she told me it wasn't. I said, well, Grandma, it was on the poster in the library. And she said, let me tell you something. You can know all there is to know about anything, but if you don't do anything with what you know, it ain't got no power attached to it. So the only power that knowledge has is the power you use. And so it's sort of like when we get together in groups like this, we learn something. We learn a lot. And some of it we use and some of it we don't. And I just love, is that my dollar earring? I can tell you what, I love dollars and I love jewelry. And when you can make the connection that they go together, you're on your way, right? And so she taught me, really what I learned at my grandmother's continuing education was how to keep my heart and what I was doing. Don't you love January? I love starting over again. I love fresh starts. And it's easy to get all enthusiastic in January, but it's real hard in June. And so she taught me how to keep my heart in what I do for as long as I'm doing it. And then to recognize when I can no longer keep my heart in it, I need to examine whether I need to be doing this or not. And it's sort of like learning to say a wholehearted yes and an emphatic no, and enough's enough. But what I've learned is that saying yes comes before saying no. Because when I know what I've said yes to, then I have the courage to say no to what doesn't matter as much as what I've said yes to. And we're all living busier lives than we've ever lived in our life. And if I ask you what it means to get your ducks in a row, would you know what I meant? Yes. But you know what? When we talk to people about getting our ducks in a row, we know what we're talking about. We just got different ducks. And so I keep with me all the time. I just have to keep me a little, I call it my heart bag, how I keep my heart in what I do. And so I just have to learn to get my little ducks, and you know, you need to really get you some real little ducks. And I want to ask you, first of all, because I don't know if you're trainable. You know, everybody isn't trainable. So I'm going to give you a test. Would you like a test to see whether or not you're trainable? All right, I want to ask you, if you knew, you were very, very clear about knowing the 3 things that mattered the most to you, in order, 1, 2, and 3, could you tell me what they are? Now, I'm not going to ask you to do it. I'm just going to give you, let's do sign language. If you know the 3 most important things to you, would you take your thumb and forefinger and make a circle? And that's just to let me know you know. All right, if you've said a wholehearted yes to these three things in the order of importance, then put that circle over your heart. All right, I am impressed. Now, I'm not going to ask you to, but if you could stand up and say, absolutely, these are the three most important things to me, then you put your circle way up in the air. Wow! Now, you take that circle and you put it right underneath your cheek. Now, what did I say? I said cheek. But what did I do? And what did you do? Most of you did what you saw me do, not what you heard me say. And you wonder what's wrong with your children. If I say these are the three most important things to me, if I'm not doing the three most important things to me, then they really aren't as important to me as I say that they are. For instance, we'll say health is pretty important. Everybody in here, your health might be pretty important. Well, what are you doing about it? Are we just talking about it? How many of you think your children would just write, this is my I love you duck? And if I said my children were just probably the highest thing, my family is right up there. I want to ask you, would you say that your children are real important to you? They were one of the top three? Okay. If I could give you a little tip, that in 8 minutes a day you could transform a relationship with your children, would you be willing to listen? 8 minutes. Now, it's an investment of your time. Not a spending of your time. You're investing in it. Because, see, an investment, a difference in spending and investing, if I'm invested, I'm expecting something on return, right? If I'm just spending it, then it's gone. So what about the first 4 minutes when you are connected to your children in the morning, and the first 4 minutes when you're connected with your children at the end of the day? If you paid attention to what you said in those 4 minutes twice a day, I want to ask you if you sound a little bit like this. Get up! I'm not going to call you again now. Get up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, we got to go. Now, did you get that home? Where's that jacket I bought you? I'm telling you, you leave that jacket. I'm not buying you another jacket now. When I get home today, you better have that jacket. And you see this room better be cleaned up. Now, I'm telling you, if that report, when I look at those grades, and you know I can look at them every day now. And when I look at those grades, if you don't have those grades pulled up, that cell phone's mine. Do you hear me? It's mine. Now hurry up and get in here. Now sit down and eat. Listen, when I bought that, I knew you weren't going to eat. I'm not going to buy another box so you can eat that box. Now hurry up and get your teeth brushed. Now, hurry up, get in the car all the way to school. You're just asking them and telling them, and then they get out and you say, love you.
That is so true.
And then at the end of the day, we start all over again. Did you have you? Now, this is what I'm suggesting. Not that you do not hold them accountable to do what they are supposed to be doing. It's just the first 4 minutes. You just build them up. Because you know where they're going? Into a negative world. And so you want those first 4 minutes with the people that you care about the most, positive moments. Just to say things to them that build them up. I can remember having a teenage daughter when somebody taught me this, and I'm telling you, sometimes I'd have to stay outside her door and pray, because 4 minutes can be a long time.
Amen.
With a teenager that rolls their eyes.
Love.
Who doesn't want to be built up? They just want me to close the door. You know what I mean? And so I just learned that sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Sometimes just to be in their presence and say prayers over them without saying a word to them. Because the one thing that we know that will never return void is the Word of God. Amen. And what I've learned in all these years of serving people is that before we get to powerful, we got to be positive. And that positive comes before powerful. And so what I've learned is to how do I recognize the negativity that's coming from me? And the biggest book on sales that I've ever read is called the Bible. And it says that out of my heart, my mouth speaks. And so if I want to know if I've got a negative attitude within me, I listen to what I'm saying because it tells me what's going on in here. And I found there are 3 things that let me know that I am becoming negative. And the first one is when I just start whining about everything that's going on around me. I know then because gratitude will always precede joy. And when I'm a grateful person, I begin to see, and you know, the Bible says to give thanks in all things, not just the things I like. And so the older I've gotten, the more I've learned to say thank you. You know, we keep a gratitude journal, right? We keep a gratitude journal of the things that we like, that we're grateful for. But I want to get where Paul was, where I don't even like the circumstances. I'll find something to be grateful for. Because when I see one thing I'm grateful for, my eyes open up and I see something else I'm grateful for. And so when it's the hardest of all, if you really see, it's not hard to stay positive when everything's going just right. It's hard to stay positive when it doesn't look like anything's going right. And so if I can learn to be positive then by being grateful, finding something to be grateful for, and what I learned is that there's a huge difference in whining and complaining. Do you know the difference? Whining is when I see something that needs correction, but I don't want to do anything about it. I just want to talk about it. Just want to tell you about it. And so I can tell you, and this is something that my children learned as preschoolers. Every room in my house had a plaque that said, "Thou shalt not whine." And a friend painted me a gorgeous one-of-a-kind painting because she used to say all the time, or my grandmama used to say all the time, there are some people who wouldn't be happy eating pound cake at the feet of Jesus. And she painted me Jesus sandal feet and a pound cake and a big old dogwood tree. And it hangs over in my kitchen right now today because I realize there are some people that have just made up their mind not to be happy. There are others that have made up their mind to be contented in every situation, no matter what the situation is. And so if you learn the difference in whining and complaining, there's only 2 things you got to remember. Number 1, if I'm telling somebody that can't do anything about it, I'm whining. So if you're telling me you're having a bad hair day, I'm just going to say, sit down and get the scissors because I figure you must think I'm a hairdresser. If you're having a bad hair day, go tell your hairdresser. Don't tell me I'm not a hairdresser. Okay? And then the second thing is if you're going to somebody who can help you do something about it, have at least one solution in mind. So that they know that you're not dumping it on them. You're trying to say to them, you know what, I think we could do this and this would improve this. And they will listen to you. And so everything else is whining. And I don't know about you, but I was raised in real South Georgia. And we say whiners are like fire ants. You can't get rid of them, but you can just move them from one place to the other. And so I want to ask you this. I know that nobody in here whines. Are y'all whiners? Okay, that's what I thought. See, whiners can't win. So if you're a whiner, you can't be a winner. And so I want to ask you, how many of you know some whiners? Do you know some? Oh, do you know at least 3? Raise your hand. Okay, do you know 5? Okay, do you know more than 5 people who whine all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have some bad news for you. If you know that many whiners, the chances are you might be one. Because they hang together. They hang together. And so you're thinking, I wonder why people whine to me all the time. Well, you've given them some reason to believe it's okay. So how can you get whiners to move on away from you? Because see, all you can do is you can decide you're going to be whine free. You can't decide that for anybody else. Okay? So if you've made the decision to be whine free, it is because you've made the deliberate decision to become an exceptionally grateful person. And so if I want the whiners to move away from me, because I've decided, are they complaining or if they're whining? If they got a complaint, I'm willing to listen to you. But if you just want to whine to me, it drains my energy. Don't drain me. And so I only have to ask you one question. I have to look you in the eye and I have to call you by name, because see, when you're whine free, you're never more courteous than when you're whine free. You show respect to the people. When I first became whine free, the only thing I whined about was the people who whined. And that's when I learned I had to find a way to get them to move away from me and stay positive myself without getting all disturbed. Because you know, if you're right and you're rude, you're still wrong. Now you need to write that down, because that is very good.
If you're right and you're rude.
If you're right and you're rude, you're still wrong. See, if I'm whine free and I'm putting you down because you still whine, I'm wrong. And so I look at you and I call you by name and I figure, what's your name? Melanie. Oh, that's a good Southern name. And so Melanie's telling me something. I say, Melanie, what can I do to help you solve this? Was that a good question? I was just wanting to help her if I could help her. Did I take responsibility for solving Melanie's problem? What can I do to help you solve this? Well, if Melanie's a whiner, she's going to say, well, I don't know if we can do anything about it. And I'm going to say, well, Melanie, think about it, and if you can think of something I can do, come on back. Okay. So Melanie comes back to me. I say, oh, Melanie, you figured out what I can help you do to solve this? And then says, no, it's just getting worse. Well, I know then that Melanie is just a whiner, not a complainer. And so then I keep with me all the time some wonderful wine-free crackers. And that's when I give Melanie some vanilla wafers, because these are treats. You just give these to your children to hush them up. I mean, if you're going to give them a treat, you're going to give them an Oreo. If you just want them to hush up, you just give them a vanilla wafer. And so you can keep these in little packages all the time. And so I say, well, Melanie, I tell you what, sugar, when you figure out what I can do to help you, come on back. But until then, just enjoy some of these vanilla wafers. And here's the good news. Melanie ain't going to ever come back to me again. Now, was I ever rude to Melanie? Did I plant the seed? If I can help you, please come back to me. And I'm not trying to get her out of my life. I'm trying to help her. But I can't help a whiner. But I can help a winner. I can help a winner. And so Melanie comes back. Now I want to ask you something. Have you ever flashed anybody? I don't know why he just looks like a flasher.
Who did you ask?
You know what? I've been around so long that there's one thing I can do. I can look at somebody's in the eye and tell when we connect. There's just some brain glow, you know? And when I said flash, his eyes kind of lit up. I could tell that he was not going to talk about it. But I want to ask you something. Rob, do you have to go to a lot of meetings? You do? Have you ever been to some meetings where there was more whining than work going on at that meeting? You have? Well, I got some good news for you, Rob. I am going to give you your official wipe out whining flasher. And when you are in a meeting and there's more whining than work going on, you just flash. Which means let's get back to work and quit whining and let's go do something about what we can do something about. So Rob is the official flasher. I want to tell you, ladies, that you can, and gentlemen, that you can literally go to Home Depot and get you a flasher. And they're like $3, $4, under $5, but you can teach young children the difference in whining and complaining. And you can teach them that if you can help them, then come and tell you. But if all they want to do is just tattle on somebody, then they need to learn to take responsibility to solve it. And you know, solving problems and taking responsibility go together. And sometimes we just like to make excuses rather than take responsibility. And so I've learned that if you'll keep these two things around you all the time, you can solve any problem that's going to come into your life. If you keep some WD-40 and you keep some duct tape, you can solve it. Every problem that you have results of two things. Either there's something you are not doing that you know if you did it, it would work, and you just need to get going, just do it. That's a WD-40 problem. If you're doing something that used to work, but it does not work anymore, that is a duct tape problem. Just take that thing down and learn a new way. Put it aside, it's okay. And then sometimes we literally have to just accept there's some things we can do nothing about. And it is that, I love that serenity prayer of just accept what you can't do anything about. But if you can do something about it, then take responsibility and do something. And ladies, I want to ask you and gentlemen, if I took this magnifying glass and I put it over your notepad, what would happen? It would get bigger. Well, you know, those notes didn't get a bit bigger, but they certainly appeared bigger to you, didn't they? Well, see, that's what we do with our minds. Whatever we dwell on doesn't really get bigger, it just appears bigger to us. Well, you see, if the excuses get on our mind, and sometimes what we put on our mind is what we can't do anything about. So why don't we move that aside and put on our minds and magnify what we can do something about. I might not can do everything, but I can do something. And so what is it that I can do something about? And I like to keep thinking about the magnifying glass in my vehicle. Don't you do more thinking when you're driving than any other time? Walking and driving, I'm thinking. And so what I had to do is I have to invest in note cards. I'm just a note card person. And I will write my verse for my life verse, my verse for the year, have a life verse, and then I have a verse for the year. And then I've learned the power of one thing. I want to ask you what you see when I hold up this picture. And I know everybody can't see it real well, but if I hold this up, what do you see? Skid marks? Okay, I had an insurance adjuster that taught me, I said, was this car stopping or taking off? Any of you know? Can you tell by the way it looks?
Taking off.
Taking off. Yeah. I had my granddaughter, her dad was stationed at Fort Stewart, and I was pushing her in her stroller, and this was like, she's 17 now, and she was about 3, so this was 14 years ago, and I was pushing her just as hard as I could, and she said, look, Mama D, there's a 1. I said, where's a 1, Anna? And she pointed to the road. And I thought, you know what? Because I understand tires and skid marks, I missed the 1. But because she was 3 and she'd just learned that a straight mark was a 1, she saw it. You know what? Sometimes the more we learn, the more we forget. Amen. That it really comes back down to one main thing. And I think that Premier has got the most beautiful mission statement. You can't beat it. And if you want to learn, I think, for me, there is a verse in the Bible that is the connection, how to connect, and that's Romans 12. And Romans 12 tells us, first of all, to present your body as a living sacrifice. And then it says, and that just means that this body is his temple. He lives in there. He says in John, the Father and I will come make our home in you. will live in you. And temple is beautiful, right? Have you ever seen a temple that wasn't beautiful? And so that's why when I see beautiful jewelry, I just love jewelry. And when I see beautiful jewelry, I'm just thinking of that my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And then the second verse is to renew your mind. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And then he says, and then I want to tell you this, don't have an exaggerated opinion of yourself, but you have a clear understanding of the gift that God has given you to use to connect with everybody else in the body. And it's that connection, it's that power of one thing. And I started this 7 years ago of my word for the year, choosing a word for the year, where you learn to think that word and talk about that word. And you ask God, you don't find the word finds you. And you ask God, what is the one thing that you want to work out in me this year? And that's your word for the year. And I'm telling you, God will definitely work it out for you. Now, if I said to you that I had door prizes for each of you, or I had a door prize and I was going to let you choose which one it was, and I could say you could choose between this door prize. You like this door prize? Well, you can choose between that door prize or between this door prize. And they're of equal value inside. Which one would you rather have? This one?
That one.
Well, if I said you could choose between that one or this one, which one would you choose?
That one.
But they're the same value inside. What does this package say if I gave to you versus what this package would say?
You tried harder.
Well, I tell you, this package says, I drew your name, and yours was the only name I didn't want. And this one says, oh, I cannot wait to get, I know that he or she's going to love this. I know they're going to love it. When I saw it, I knew they were going to love it, and I can't wait to give it to them. Well, let me tell you what I learned. My sister-in-law used to give me gifts wrapped just like this every year for Christmas, and I think, now you know what, she's married to my brother, and I said to myself, you know, if I was married to somebody who treated me like my brother treats her, and if I made the money she made, I could stand in line and get my gifts wrapped. She knew how to tie a bow, and I learned how to tie a bow. And what I want you to think about is that the difference in this package is, oh, well, I don't have much to give. But this one says, not only, it's not about how I feel about me, it's how I feel about the one I'm giving it to. And there are things that you can learn as you come to the rallies. To tie a bow, to put one more little loop in what it is you're doing, which says, you are worth. You're just valuable, and I'm valuable. And there's such a difference in being positive and being Pollyanna. Mm-hmm. Because Pollyanna is just simply wanting to wave a magic wand.
I'm Cinderella. Let's wave the magic wand to make our dreams come true.
Being positive is not being Pollyanna. Being positive is getting my mind set to add to somebody else's life so that together we can multiply. And it takes power to multiply, right? But it's when positive people come together that there's the ability to multiply. So I tell you what, I got to get on out of here because it's my hair day. It is time we bring big hair back. Because the bigger your hair, the smaller your hips appear. I get my hair done every Saturday at 12 o'clock. And last week I had worked 2 shifts all night. Somebody didn't show up. I had to work for their shift, and I went in at 12. And I sat down and I said, I am so tired today, I don't even know which end's up. And she said, well, make up your mind, Flo, because I'm fixing a shampoo. What